Coming up in our August premiere auction, we have some absolutely exceptional sporting shotguns. As we always do, these two are two of my favorites in this sale, and this is where we're going to start. So the first one I have here is a Boss over-under shotgun. This is a pre-war 28 gauge Boss over-under shotgun though. They made very few 28 gauges really throughout their lifetime. They made very few guns. I mean, we're talking about a best quality maker that makes a small amount of guns every year. Particularly pre-war, they were making mostly 12 gauge, 20 gauge shotguns at that time, because obviously that's what everybody was looking for. Today, you know, we have kind of this renaissance, or this highly desirability for small bore shotguns, which makes these even more desirable, because getting an older quality made shotgun that is in a small bore is incredibly hard to find, because they weren't in demand at that time. But again, this is a pre-war, it's 28 gauge. This comes with another barrel set that was made more recently, but it's very functional set with the two barrels. It's still in absolutely exceptional condition. You've got great case colors, the bluing on it, exceptional wood. So, I mean, this is a gun that could look great in your cabinet as a collectible gun. It certainly will continue to be collectible in the future, but it's also functional. You could take this gun out. You could take it in the quail woods. You could take it, you know, to the skeet range if you wanted. It's a functional collectible gun, and just this is how over-under shotguns were meant to be built. Just absolute perfection when it comes to the proportions, the fit and finish of it. You've got the extended fore-end iron on it. It's perfection. That perfectly segues into our next gun, which when I first held this in my hand, that's absolutely what came to my head, was just perfection. This is how shotguns are meant to be built. This is a P.V. Nelson. P.V. Nelson's a very interesting character. He worked for Purdy, went off on his own, makes very few guns, but he makes them of the highest quality. So not as well known a maker as, you know, Purdy, Howland & Howland, some of the other best quality makers, but he is at the top. And again, this is a 410. It's perfectly proportioned to a 410. That's the one thing you got to think of. I mean, these guns are all bespoke guns. They're custom made, but making a 12 gauge action is something they do all the time. They might have stuff sitting around. They might have older produced actions that they have readily available for them. A 410 action, they have to build that specifically for a 410 in these very small proportions. I mean, it is truly custom built to each person. So again, you got this incredibly dainty small bore with beautiful engraving. Again, you have that extended fore-end iron. You just got to put these guns in your hand. They're just so perfectly proportioned. And again, I think the word that's going to come to your mind when you put them up is perfection. Next, we're going to talk about some non-English shotguns, including this pair of Italian double barrels that have some very interesting history. Also, we have a American shotgun, a Parker Brothers, that we're going to talk about as well. So first off, this pair here, this is a pair of Zanottis, or Fabio Zanotti, which is not as well known as some of the other Italian manufacturers, but they're absolutely exceptional pair of guns. Side lock, as you can see, beautiful wood, beautiful case colors on it. But the reason that I put these in, not only are they a well-manufactured pair of guns, but these were given or ordered by Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr. Now, this comes with the case, which has FDR Jr. On the outside of it. But also inside the case, we found a tag from the Lovett Estates, which is the largest estate of the Fraser clan in Scotland, the home to the Lord Lovett, or the many Lord Lovetts throughout the years. So the Roosevelt family was known to have a relationship with the Lovett clan, and so we don't know exactly when Mr. Roosevelt went over there, but I'm sure at some point he had went over there to hunt at the Scottish estate. So once again, we've got a beautiful Italian manufactured pair of shotguns, as high quality as anything that comes out of Italy. Maybe not as well known, but again, you got this great provenance behind it. So obviously we have the connection through the Lovett Estates, but also Mr. Roosevelt was a businessman as well throughout his political career, and his main business was importing foreign cars. He imported Jaguars, English manufactured Jaguars, and also Italian Fiats. We would assume at some point he had a relationship with the Zanatti manufacturers or somebody over there that either had these guns made for him or he had them made. So, but again, just a really cool history with this pair of guns. They're not as well known a manufacturer of Italian shotguns, but they are as well manufactured as any other Italian shotgun out there, and with this really cool history with the Roosevelt family and obviously with the Lovett Estates as well. So then we transitioned to an American manufactured side-by-side shotgun, the Parker Brothers A1 Special. Besides the Invincible, which they only made 3 of, you can't get one at this point. This is the highest manufactured gun that Parker ever made, and it's exceptional. They pulled out all the stops when it comes to the engraving, the level of engraving, the quality of the steel, the quality of the wood, the quality of the fit and finish, and this is no exception. Just the pinnacle of American manufacturing side-by-side shotguns. Next up, we're going to go back to some quintessential British best quality shotguns. Right here we have a pair of Purdey side-by-side hammerless side-lock shotguns. These come out of the Norman Blank collection. We have the original documents when Mr. Blank ordered these in 1960, brand new. And as you can see, these do not have your standard English rose and scroll engraving. We have a more deep relief engraving that would have been done by a Mr. Ken Hunt, who at the time was a young but obviously very capable engraver on his way to being one of the most desirable engravers in English gun manufacturing. But here you can see, looking through it, we've got some interspersed gold inlays throughout the gun. Very, very well done. Like I said, relief engraving, not typical of the time period. So as I said, these were engraved by Ken Hunt early in his career, and then we transition up to a pair of Purdey over-under shotguns that were engraved by Mr. Hunt's daughter, Allison. And these would have been done fairly early in her career. These were a matched pair of over-under shotguns. As you can see, this has more of your traditional rose and scroll engraving, but you can see some very beautiful game scenes that were engraved by Miss Hunt. So as I mentioned, these are your quintessential English best shotguns. We've got the over-under pair by Purdey. We've got the side-by-side pair by Purdey as well. This is, when you think of best quality English guns, these are probably what you think of. So as I said, these are just a few of the absolutely exceptional sporting shotguns we have coming up in our August premiere sale, which will be held August 23rd, 24th, 25th, in our brand new state-of-the-art Bedford, Texas facility right in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. We can't encourage you enough to come down and see these guns in person on the preview day on August 22nd. If you're not able to make it there, we understand, but take a look at them on our website, www.rockislandauction.com, along with all the other fine firearms we have coming up in that August sale. Once again, August 23rd, 24th, and 25th.